Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Too Good to Be True podcast. I am your host, Pascal Mayala, and today we are talking about the game one of the East in the conference final between the Knicks and the Pacers and the Wolf and OKC. But first, we have to start with what I just witnessed. I didn't watch uh um the game one between the Knicks and the Pacers, but I saw some highlights, and boy, what did I just saw? What did I just saw in this game? And also, we're going to talk about also game OKC and the Wolf game one also. But first, before we talking about this, make sure to like, subscribe, notify, leave your comment on my video, and don't forget also to listen to this podcast, Too Good to Be True podcast with Pascal Bayala on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcast. So let's get right to it. So let's talk about the Knicks versus the Pacers game one. Oh boy, that was a hell of a game. Okay, hell of a game between the Knicks and Pacers game one, and I was always wondering how the Knicks will keep up with the Pacers, and they did, and they did, and they did keep up until the Pacers come back from I think a 17 point deficit to go to overtime, and that the Pacers won game one. So let's look at the box score right now. So great win for the Pacers, 138 to 135. 2 point, what is it, like a 3 point game between the Pacers and the Knicks. So let's start with the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, 31 points, 4 rebounds, 11 assists, one steal. Shot for 12 of 33, 23 in the field goal. Shot 4 and 12 on the 3 point, which is not good. Aaron Naismith, whoo, he was the unsung hero of game one. Okay, 30 points, 2 rebounds, one steal, 2 blocks, shot for 9 and 13 in the field goal, 8 and 9 in the 3 point. Pascal Siakam, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, shot for 7 and 16 in the field goal, 0 and 2 in the 3 point. Whew. And the bench, let's say they did rely on the bench. Compared to the New York Knicks, uh, James Bronson, who, by the way, he had 5 fouls in the fourth quarter, but I will explain it later in my opinion. 43 point, 1 rebound, 5 assists, shot for 15 for 25 in the field goal, 1 and 6 in the 3 point. Cat Carl Anthony Town, great game despite the loss. 35 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, shot for 11 and 17 in the field goal, 4 and 8 in the 3 point. OG Ananobi, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steal, 3 blocks, shot for 6 and 15 in the field goal, 4 and no, yeah, 6 and 15 in the field goal, 2 and 8 in the 3 point. Mikael Bridges, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Um, Shot for 8 and 16 in the field goal, 0 and 1 in the 3 points. So, what am I thought about this game? I mean, I said in the beginning, that game, what did I just saw? It was one of those moments, you know, when you watch a playoff game, you try to predict game one that this home team is gonna win, but you realize that the other team has the advantage too. That the other team could win this game one, and that's what the Indiana Pacers did. They stole game one at Madison Square Garden, and not only that, you saw what Tyrese Haliburton did in the fourth quarter at the buzzer beater, and I thought they won the game. And did the choke sign, the Reggie Miller thing, choke sign back in 1994, but his foot was on the line. So that's why we had it overtime. And this is where Aaron Naismith stole the show. 8 3 point. Something that Reggie Miller never did. He did sorry, uh, 8 points in 8 seconds. Aaron Smith did 8 points in overtime. So I was pretty shocked and I was pretty amazed with this game one. So let's listen to Aaron Naismith about the team resilient against the Knicks. So let's listen what she's got to say. Then we're gonna switch up, talk about the Knicks, not Knicks, but Carlisle's in the press conference, and Jalen Brunson collapse against the Pacers. So here you go, people.
Do you guys keep doing this over and over again in the playoffs?
We're just a resilient group. I said it all the time. We just never quit on a fight, and we got a special locker room.
You guys were down 17 midway through the fourth quarter, and Coach Carlisle continued to say, just keep fighting. 7 minutes is a lot of time. And then at the 3-minute mark, he said 3 minutes is still enough time. You were the one who ignited that comeback. What was your mindset during that stretch?
You said it's a lot. Why we keep chipping away, man. You play to the buzzer sounds. I think we're really good at that. We just played the right way. The ball fell, and, we were able to make a comeback.
How were you personally able to find that rhythm when needed?
I work on my craft, man. So I trust the process. I know I'm a high-level shooter, and, I just let him fly where we needed him.
Tyrese Haliburton, he could have tried to take it to the rim on that final play of regulation. Instead, he backs it out. That takes a lot of guts. What's going through your mind when it bounces off the rim?
Special. I was standing right under the basket and went away straight up all that. Oh, that's good. That's good. So, he's special. He's a special player. He's our leader. He continues to amaze me on a night in, night out basis. So he's just phenomenal.
Every series is different. What are your expectations with this matchup?
It's a dogfight. You saw today. It was a full 53-minute game. They play hard. We play hard. It's going to be the same thing in 2 days. So we got to go get our rest and, fix our mistakes.
Congrats.
So let's hear Rick Carlisle on the game one victory against the Knicks.
Here is Rick Carlisle on his team and their comeback.
Well, we've had a lot of these games this year. I mean, we've probably had a dozen of them throughout the season. A lot of the games early where we were struggling were games we had to pull out. There were clutch games when we weren't playing particularly well, and it's a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets, and it's not easy. It's not easy. There's been a lot of wild swings and scores throughout the season and the playoffs. But, you certainly don't take anything like this for granted. This is very, very difficult to do, but it's a 48-minute game. And we always say, Pacer basketball is 48 minutes. And tonight it was 53 minutes.
I want to apologize when I said they came down by 17, which they did. but they came down a 9 point in the fourth quarter. So I wanted to apologize about that. But uh, but let's talk about to the New York Knicks because the Knicks uh they they had a chance to win it, but unfortunately they failed. And if I look before we get to the Jalen Brunson, I want to look at the team field goal and all the team field goal and 3 point shot. So if you look at the Knicks and the Pacers field goal, both of them have 51%. But if you look at the 3 point, the Pacers have 48% to compare to the Knicks 32%, the difference of 8%, uh, 8%. But I think if I really look at closely, I think the Knicks turn over 15 times that more than the Pacers. I think the turnover kills the New York Knicks, but also the not the rebound, but the like I said, the 3 point was an issue. Difference of 8% the differences. But let me say this, and this is what I always criticize Tom Thibodeau. He does not rely on his bench. And to win a game or to win the NBA Finals, you have to rely on the bench. You cannot always rely on uh, Mikael Bridges, OG Anunoby, Cat, Jalen Brunson, or Josh Hart. And we did have a little spark with Malcolm McBride, but I don't understand what Coach Thibodeau's mind. I don't know why he doesn't rely on his bench, but I think game two they had to address it in game two, and I hope game two they have to change the strategy because the way they Tom Thibodeau does not use his bench, and this is what I always criticize Tom Thibodeau during the playoff. He does not rely on his bench, and I'm always afraid that if he doesn't rely on the bench, I'm afraid that uh, like Cat or OG or Jalen Brunson could get injured. Compared to the Pacers, if you look at the Pacers, they rely on the bench. The Spies are not using veteran, but you know who's going to show up, regardless who's shooting to score a single digit. But at least they are relying on the bench. So let's listen to uh, Jalen Bronson on the uh, Nets collapse against the Pacers. But I hope game two they need to address it in game two, and Coach Tom Thibodeau need to trust more of his bench. So let's listen to what he's got to say. He's got to say. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna share it. Let's listen what he got it. Let's listen what he got to say.
How do you summarize? You guys had a 14-point lead with 2:51 left to go. How do you summarize how the game closed?
Uh, can't really summarize it. Give them a lot of credit. They closed the game out like they've been doing it all playoffs. Um, just not really good on our part.
Pretty rare to see a guy like Neesmith hit 5 threes in a row in late game. Just what did you see on the defense from him that let him get those shots?
I mean, it wasn't rare or a rare sighting. I mean, he can shoot, and but no, when good teams when they have a hot shooter, they find him. So just it's just not good on our part and finding him in transition and getting open spots.
So you heard what James Boston got to say, and I said everything I got to say. And I hope Game Two they need to address it on Friday. Don't forget watch the Knicks and Pacers Game Two at one at 7 p.m. In the afternoon in the evening in the United States, one in the morning in Europe or whatever you are. So I hope Game Two they address it. Moving on the next game that that I didn't have a chance to talk about the OKC versus OKC versus the Wolf. So I need to address it. So congratulations on OKC winning game one game one against um the Wolf 114-88. Let's start with the Wolf, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Uh, Julius Randle, 28 point, 8 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, shot for 9 and 13 on the field goal, shot for 5 and 6 and 3 point. Anthony Edwards was pretty not the Anthony Edwards that we saw in the conference the semifinals against the Warriors. He had 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists, shot for 5 and 13 on the field goal, 3 and 8 on the 3 point. Um, and I don't say Rudy Gobert because he got fouled out in 1 minute, so he had Coach Finch had to bench him. OKC SGA 31 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals, shot for 10 to 27 in the field goal, 0 and 4 in the 3 point. Chet 50 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, shot for 6 and 9 in the field goal, 1 and 1 in the 3 point. Jalen Williams, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, shot for 7 and 18 on the field goal, 1 and 2 on the 3 point. Uh, and that's it. So then, before I get my opinion, let's hear what Anthony Edwards about talking about his Wolf and how they're gonna bounce back in game two.
Throwing different looks at you guys every other possession on offense. Just how did it make it hard for you to read, or hard for the team to read, or just how did you kind of process their defense?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to process because he right. It was different. It was different every time. I mean, heavy in the gaps. Sometimes trap the ball screen. Sometimes don't. Sometimes just run and jump. It's kind of similar to like AAU. They remind me of like an AAU defensive team. Just run and jump, fly around. So it's pretty good. Good to get it out of our system in game one. You know, so we'll be ready for game two. We should be ready.
So you heard what he said. It's more like it's more like an AAU. It's more like an AAU team. Rebound and you know whatever he said. Um, my thought about this game. I'm not gonna say the game is boring, but there was moments in this game that I saw and that the Timberwolves were really in the second half. In the second half, they didn't play very well. Julius Randle, like I said, he got 28 points. He had a hard start in the first half, but the second half, I don't know what happened. He stopped shooting, especially when not Cat, but Edman Anthony Edwards uh, hurt his knee, and he had to go back and I don't think Anthony Edwards wasn't the same, but Anthony Edwards did not really shoot. So I hope game two to address it. Now for OKC, the starter did stepped up. They stepped up, but also we gotta give them credit what credit is due. Their defense was what kept them to winning the game against the T Wolf in game one. So we had to give credit to Coach Mark Dano. So we're gonna listen to what Coach Dano got to say about about their defense. But first, make sure to subscribe, like, notify, leave your comment on my video on the Too Good to Be True podcast on my video. And that being said, let's listen what Coach Dano got to say after the victory.
Get in it first half, then you guys were able to continue to turn it up and get the offense going in the second half. What did you feel throughout that first half in terms of the pressure you all were able to put to just keep you in it long enough?
I thought that was the game, for us, to play as poorly as we did offensively in the first half and to be down 4 was a major victory for us at halftime. And the defense was a huge catalyst in that. I thought offensively, it's a very different series. It's a very different team stylistically, and I just thought it took us some time to calibrate that. They're a lot more pressure-oriented on the perimeter. They're a lot more physical on the perimeter. Denver, plays you at a lower pickup and packs it in. Their physicality is different, but this team is really up the floor, pressuring and really after you. And so I just thought it took us a second to calibrate to the opponent, but our defense allowed us the margin to do that, obviously.
So you heard what he said, and I said this: you got to give credit to their defense. The defense has stepped up, and also, I mean, there's nothing I can say, and nothing to say about that. But I will say this: and this is why I said this. When you play Game 7 in a semifinal, I think it helped benefit for the next game compared to a team who won 5 games and they had to rest and not performing very well in game one in the conference final, and it does benefit for that. So we have to give OKC credit what credit is due. I mean, they were amazing. So game two is a must win for the T Wolves. But let's listen what Chris Finch uh, gotta say about the uh, the loss in game one against the OKC and how he has to change his game plan for game game two.
New on SportsCenter, here's Timberwolves coach Chris Finch.
We didn't have a lot of patience in the second half, and then our rushed offense, didn't get a bunch of quality looks, and then it affected our defense. Honestly, we got some fouls early, which I thought made us a bit softer than we needed to be, and then it was just then when we did get good looks, they didn't go down. So.
You mentioned the defense became a little softer. Was that the main issue in your eyes on that end of the floor in the second?
Yeah, I think it was, like I said, our offense affected our defense, and that can't happen. And
Chris, the amount of good looks it seemed like you had from three. I mean, how do you feel just about?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of good shots out there. I think we got to clean things up a little bit. Sometimes the passes were late. Sometimes we weren't quite shot ready. Sometimes we need to turn them into other plays, But I did think that we got a number of really good looks, and we really couldn't connect when the game was kind of turning against us. So.
And Julius was great in the first half, and then did they just really kind of load up on him in the second half?
I didn't see necessarily anything different. That's on me. I got to get him the ball. I got to get him more involved to start that second half.
So you heard what Coach Finch said that he need to involve Julius Randle, and yes, I didn't say I didn't say that, but yes, in second half he was disappeared, and Coach Finch need to involve all Julius Randle, Mike Conley in the game because Edmund cannot do it by himself. And Julius Randle, what he did to get the Golden State Warrior, he was pretty amazing. But I think game two they're gonna solve it. So I'm not worried about that. So let's look at the team team wise from field goal, 3 point, and turnover, so on and so forth. So if you look at the field goal, OKC have 50% in the field goal compared to um, the Timberwolves 34%. I'll say 35% on that one. The 3 point 52% over the Wolf 29%, and the Wolf got more turnover than OKC in a combine of five, minimum five. OKC got more assists, more rebound, especially in a defensive no in a defensive rebound, especially. But the offensive rebound, the OKC need to address it a little bit. They need to address it. But I hope uh, I hope game two the Wolf solve the solve uh, this situation. So I hope they're gonna win this. Moving on, and this is a great topic about the MVP. So if you haven't heard it, and I'm gonna say it right now, Shea Alexander is your MVP of the 2025 24-25 season. So congratulations to him. I wanna make give his share video about his speech, but especially an emotional speech. So let's before
SGA go to most.
I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it with you guys. So here's a video. I'm gonna share it, especially when he's talking about his wife, and this is very touchy. He is the second Canadian to win the MVP. If you know who won the MVP, you know who won the MVP. Two-time MVP, Steve Nash. So let's share it and listen what he's got to say about um, he's emotional winning the MVP, especially he's taking somebody special to his heart.
I also would like to thank my brother, my twin, my best friend since I was 2 years old, since he came out the womb. Thank you for everything. My partner in crime through it all. My dad for putting the ball in my hands. My mother. If you guys, any of you guys know my mother, she's crazy. And I told her the other day that like I always thought she was insane until I had a child and I understood exactly what she was saying and exactly what she meant. And I love the person that she's turned me and my brother into, and she is a big part of that. And then the one and only Haley Summers. Thank you. Sorry, I'm so dramatic. Haley Summers, thank you for everything you are for me, for our son Aries. You were the first person to show me what love really meant. What love really meant, what sacrifice really meant. And I can't wait to spend the rest of this journey called life with you. So thank you for everything. I wouldn't be the man I am. I wouldn't be the player I am. I wouldn't be the father I am without you. But thank you for that. So thank you, everybody. Someone down.
Wow. I mean, you can see his emotion winning the MVP, especially when he's talking about his wife. I mean, we always said that every great man always have a great wife, and that's what SGA showed us when he won the MVP last night. What a great guy! Like I always said to the young player, the young kids out there who try to make their dream go to the NBA. If you want to win championship, MVP, award, put the work in. Put the work in because you never know what's gonna happen in life. I mean, you saw SGA taking his parents and also he's taking his wife that walked the journey with her. And that's what it's all about. It's about life. It's the journey that takes you to where you are now. So I got none bad about. I can't speak. I cannot say bad thing about SGA. So I'll put a little bit of light on it. So great guy. Congratulations once again winning the MVP. And I hope that he win multiple MVP. And that is what this what is it? What the last what seven seven time that an international won the MVP. I know Jokic won it twice. SGA won it. Giannis won it twice. Joel Embiid won it. So it's like four international players win the MVP, and that's where the NBA is now. There's international player are coming up winning the MVP. I mean, I said they're coming. Even though what last year the Olympic Team USA won, they know the world is coming. The world is coming. The gap is not farther. It's come closer and closer and closer that the international are coming. So that's what I got to say about this. But thank you very much for listening to this podcast. And I'm not going to do my prediction for game two. I'm not going to do it. But I hope that game two, the Wolves resolve address in game two, and I hope the Knicks resolve game two. So thank you very much for listening to this podcast. Make sure to listen to this podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, notify, like, and leave your comment on my video or your comment on the community. And if you want to follow me on social media, follow me on Facebook, Pascal Mayala, Instagram, Pascal underscore Mayala underscore 15, on X, formerly Twitter, at Belly versus PMM. Then I repeat that for last time, Belly versus PMM. And that said, thank you very much for listening to the podcast, and I'll see you next time.